go to running back and Rachaad White. We mentioned how it's going to be a running back rotation, a triumvirate in that backfield with Bucky Irving, also with Sean Tucker. White over the weekend, 6 for 29 on the ground. Okay, nothing to write home about there, but 5 for 38 and another receiving touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons. He's number 27 right now in half-point PPR leagues on the season. Next 3 games at Kansas City, San Francisco, not great matchups there. Then the bye, then against the New York Giants on the road. He's number 25 in yak per attempt. Okay, decent mark there. 11 missed tackles on 67 attempts. Getting back to the yak per attempt, number 4 in that category, his teammate, and Bucky Irving. Spell it out for me. Fearlessly forecast it for me, if you will, Horvat. Who is going to be the most valuable Buccaneer back rest of the season from this point on? Is it going to be White? Is it going to be Bucky Irving? Or maybe Sean Tucker?
I'm going to say it's Bucky Irving. I also think it could change every single week because they script and game plan for opponent. The play calling's been excellent this season, but with the beat up wide receiver room right now, I do still think White deeper leagues is startable, just because, especially PPR, half PPR leagues, because of what he does as a route runner and as a pass catcher. But ultimately, I think Bucky Irving gets the majority of the carries, and I do think that Tucker's going to start getting some more runs, some more usage here, just the way that he runs the ball. But there is still a spot for White because of the injury to Godwin, and right now, Mike Evans.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent call. So Rachaad White, a guy that's certainly getting the job done. I think he's going to be the most valuable of the threesome, quite frankly, because I think why? Because I do because I think White on White, I guess.
Yeah.
It's because the race to 20 is out the window for me as Darius Slayton wins it. Long bomb from Daniel Jones marching out of the field or the Giants. It's good for your bet. But bad for me. Lost a half unit on that sucker right now. But I think Rachaad White is going to have the most value because of the pass-catching ability. And Tampa's lickiness and susceptibilities on defense is going to leave him on the field a lot. And he can really clean up as a route runner and as a receiver, getting a lot of those touchdowns, especially with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans still sidelined. They're going to be sidelined for a while. Let's go to wide receiver. And one guy that really just kind of blew me away was Calvin Ridley. In that blowout loss against the Detroit Lions, 15 targets. He had 10 receptions for $143, no touchdown. But coaching staff has said, hey, we got to get this guy the ball more. They scripted for him. He was wide ass open half the game. I guess, point the finger at the Lions secondary. Ridley's only number 55 in fantasy points per game value at the wide receiver position and half-point PPR next 3 games. New England, like that. At the LA Chargers, don't like that. And then again, Minnesota after that. Number 52 in yak per reception, but number 5 in average depth of target at 16.6. When the dust settles on the fantasy season, where do you think Calvin Ridley winds up in the wide receiver pecking order?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I don't know right now, just because the first couple weeks of the season there were some donuts in there because he was getting 7-8 targets, but they were all deemed uncatchable. That's why I liked him and I had him on my fantasy flames and played some props. Is right now there's really nobody else to throw the ball to. What do you think? Their top? Gosh, that's such a good question.
Well, look, I will
40,
say this:
top 50. Because
I think 40's right, and I think he's going to finish repeatedly, numerous times in the wide receiver 3 class. Just because what's left of that offense is him and Tony Pollard. That's it.
And they're playing from behind every week. Yeah.
They're playing from behind every week. I don't care if it's Mason Rudolph. I don't care if it's Will Levis. It won't matter. He is going to get force-fed targets. Monster matchup. A lot of implications there in the division, really in the NFC in general. Coming up this week at Houston and then Jacksonville. They're minus 140 right now to take the division. Is that the L word? Is that the G word? Is it easy money, in your opinion, for Detroit to secure the rights to the title in the NFC North?
Man, I don't want to lay that price. If I wanted to do anything with Detroit, I would maybe look to just buy some NFC futures right now, 3-1. I think that's a really good price because I think there's 3 teams in the NFC: Philadelphia, Green Bay, and Detroit. And that's why I want to pump the brakes, and I really want to watch this game this weekend. That first matchup last year, Green Bay, like, it didn't look like they belonged on the same field, especially in the first half as Detroit. Second matchup, Detroit really struggled defensively against Jordan Love and all those receivers. They tried a little zone, then they tried to play man, and they just couldn't do it. So, I mean, Green Bay right now really trending in the right direction as well, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They still lead the league in takeaways. A little bit better against the run. So I think this week is really where we learn who's the class in the NFC North, man. That's going to be a big-ass game. But, like, right now, I don't want to bet against Detroit the rest of the season. What they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, every time I looked up on Red Zone Channel, somebody was breaking for like a 30, 40-yard gain. And it's not even just the offense right now. Special teams. They're a good football team. They're the most fun team in the league. If I was like 10, 11 years old, that would be my favorite team right now. So I want to wait, pump the brakes a little bit. I have some concerns about the pass rush, especially without Aiden Hutchinson moving forward. Let's see if they make a move. Still have some questions about that secondary, but they're damn good, man.
Yeah, I mean, with the offense and the explosivity they possess, they can outscore anybody. I mean, that 1-2 punch of Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, mandatory Montgomery. You know what? Give me some Billy Idol. It's been a minute since I heard Billy. Come on, Brandon, feed it to me.
Pump it up.
Flash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the theme song for Mandatory. And guess what? He found the end zone. Jahmyr Gibbs also found the end zone.
Yeah.
That's all they do, man. And Jared Goff didn't have to do much anything. He was set up inside the red zone the entire game. It really suppressed his passing yards production. But what he twirled, like 3 or 4 touchdowns? This team, they've got it all. I do, have some reservations about the things you outlined. But they were my preseason pick to win the Super Bowl this year. They're now plus 650. I think I got them at like 13-1 back in August. By the way, they're 3-1 to take the NFC. The Lions have looked darn right incredible here the last couple of weeks, especially on Sunday. All right, let's move on to the Commanders. That stupid team. 6-1-1 ATS. Yeah. Of course, in thrilling fashion, one people going to remember positively and negatively for years to come, and that Hail Mary connection with Noah Brown and Tyree Stevenson and his idiocy in that moment. They win the game 18-15. They're number 1 are the Commanders in EPA per play offense, number 22 improving in defense. Next 3 games to get this Giants team on the road, divisional matchup upcoming, then Pittsburgh at home, and then at Philadelphia, plus 135 to win the division. You got $100. You got to lay it on the Commanders to take that division?
I'm not. No, I think Philadelphia is like really, really scary right now, man. That was my preseason Super Bowl pick, at least to represent the NFC. So I'm not going to take them to win the division. Prices are gone for them to make the playoffs. But I wish I would have bought in a couple weeks ago. I was worried about the defense. I didn't think the defense was any good. And I thought when they stepped up in class and played some of these better teams, it would show. But, I mean, like, Dan Quinn has these guys playing lights out right now. And then on the offensive side of the ball, this is the best version of Terry McLaurin we've ever seen. And that's what I've been saying for 3 years. He just needs a real quarterback. He's had at least 90 receiving yards in 4 of his last 6 games. He only had 90-plus receiving yards twice all of last season, man. The run game, Brian Robinson looked like he was back to normal after missing some time in Week 5 and Week 7. He's been dealing with that knee injury. He looked pretty good. Austin Eckler ended up leading the team in snaps preseason. I said he was running the ball like he had a refrigerator on his back. I kind of hated I ripped their offseason bringing in all these old guys. The Commanders are headed in the right direction, man, and Jaden is so fun. He really is. I do think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they win the division. We'll see, though. I could be proved wrong.
Yeah, congratulations on your Offensive Rookie of the Year trophy there, Jaden Daniels.